Q&A. So we received a couple of questions. It's not overwhelming amount of questions. So then you have to put up that we speak a little loosely about other things also. I mean, which all has a relation to Krishna consciousness, because that's the whole topic of this whole channel, that you're trying to learn that. So that means that all the questions, some or other, will be directed into spiritual life, which is the overarching topic. So let's see. Yeah, of course. Do you have any questions in the Zoom?
Oh, not me. I don't have any introductory question. No.
No, very good. So then we'll just dive right into the question that I received personally, and that was, let's see. I got the question in Norwegian, so I have to translate it on the fly. So in most cultures in the world, since the beginning of time, people are talking about gods who came from the skies and created humans, and also they're talking about a secret invisible world where all the supernatural beings are staying. So it had been interesting to hear what's your take on that. Okay, yeah. So this is like yeah, where is this secret invisible world and all that? Yeah. So actually this thing has been up to discussion before. So basically in the Vedic culture we have a strata of 3 levels. Yeah. So I can see the 3-level world. Yeah. So that is is Adi-bhautika, Adi-daivika, and Adi-atmika. Yeah. So the first one is our well-known mortal world. So I mean life on Earth. Yeah. So I'll write in parentheses is gross. Yeah. So I mean we've used this word gross a lot. It's not maybe the meaning that people are using usually, that is bad or something like that. It just means that it's very gross. That it's very tangible. Adi-daivika is subtle. So that's the life. That's the life. What do you call this? It's not directly in heaven always. It's more like life in. Okay, we can just call it life in heaven. So it's easy to navigate. So that's subtle. But then I have to qualify what life in heaven actually means. It's not kind of just, you can say, the normal Western religious way that we talk about heaven. That's where you stay and everything is nice. It's not like that. In Adi-daivika, it means that these heavenly people, they are astral people, and they are doing all the work for arranging nature's ways, and also including that is karma, good and bad reactions, and all that stuff. It's all from the Adi-daivika. And then Adi-atmika, that's life. Life in the spiritual world. Yeah. Yeah. So that is so then that is spiritual or absolute.
I guess I can also elaborate on it.
Yeah.
Because where in the consciousness these things take place.
Yeah. So the Adi-bhautika it takes place in our senses and mind. Yeah.
Which includes the mind.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Adi-daivika, it takes place in our in our heart, you can say. Yeah.
It's the subtle
senses? Yeah. Or you can say in our subtle body. Let's just call it like that. That makes it more easy. So it's also the subtle body is called antakarana. So in the gross senses of mind, you can say. So then it's, or let's just say the gross senses then, just to make it like a real distinction. Because subtle body is after all also the mind. But my point is that when the mind is turned towards the gross senses, say for example now, we are very much in the gross world. So the only thing we're thinking about is the last movie, or what somebody did on YouTube, or everything is turned towards gross activities, right? But the mind can also be become very much adidaivic, and it will think about what did the demigods do now, what's happening karmically, and one thinks about more completely mystical in one's outlook, right? Then that's the mindset of a yogi or a mystic. So he's not into all the latest news and stuff like that. He's into the higher stuff that happens behind the scene. Yeah, so that's antakarana. So such people will be properly anti-social, right? they're existing in another realm. And if one is a demigod, or you can say God, that means not the supreme God, but all these angels are also called gods in that capacity. Then one is concerned about what's going on behind the scenes karmically. People are experiencing stuff because of good and bad karma. It's like reactions. Grossly, it is happened because of the immediate cause. Somebody said something to me, then he is the culprit. No, it's actually not. It was arranged by the gods, because I had done something before, which everybody forgot about, but the gods does not forget that, right? So that way it's higher. We are quite ignorant when we are on the Adibautika platform. Yeah, so I just write about it. So on the Adibautika, then all is concerned about our gross body, really. And then antakarana, that's in our soul body, and then life in the spiritual world, it takes place in the soul. Yes, Atma. That's a wonderful thing. It takes place in the soul. It's actually explained like that. The whole bhakti, all the leelas, all the pastimes, where does this happen? We cannot see them happen here because they're unmanifested. All of that, all this divine place of Krishna and all his friends and lovers, it's all going on in the mind of in the soul of the devotee, or the soul and the devotee are one. The soul is the devotee. Yeah. So everything is taking place there, and is of course then not understood by anybody else than another devotee who is on the same platform. Yeah, so then back to the question here that, okay, what about all this culture all over the world talking about gods who came from the heaven and created humans? Yeah, that's explained. So, I will not write everything since anyway we are speaking and people can hear. So I will just speak this because otherwise I will write too much. And somebody also complained that it's too much noise from the keyboard. So I will just speak this. That the point is that all the shastras, like you have all the Puranas, Mahabharata, Ramayana, they're all talking about this all the time. That the gods are coming and they're making sure there are humans planted there. The first human was Manu, right? Where did Manu come from? Manu, from there you have man. So Manu, he was just one person. He was coming from the god Brahma. Brahma created him from his mind and he planted him here on the earth planet. And then, out from Manu came, Shatarupa, which was his wife, came out of the same body. Sounds familiar? Right? From the same body, the female was created from the original man. And so they were like in a union, like a yin and yang. They were just in a union. And thus they created, a few more, people, who again, created more people, and thus you have the whole world full of different species. Of course, some of these, there were gods who created, the different animal species, even the different, plants even. Everything was created, from the different gods. Yeah. So that way you have all that going on. Our whole earth is planted with living entities from the gods. So it's similar to, the Sumerian tablets stories, or so some other New Age authors headed by Zachariah Sitchin are talking about, that we are planted here by the gods. So we agree about that. I mean, the Vedas agree about that. And then what is this secret, invisible world? Well, that's the Adidayvika world. That's secret and invisible, both of them. It's secret because you can only know about that when you yourself become a yogi and you're getting into that. And from doing yogic practice, you can be elevated to become actually a devata or a demigod or god in your next life, or even in this life. But this is of course not the process we are interested in bhakti yoga, because we know that's also inside the material world. It's just on a higher level, in subtle level. But guess what? The devotees are just interested in going back to Krishna, not interested in becoming a devata. So yeah, so that's pretty much what it is. So if anybody has anything more to say about that, then please go ahead. I don't see any huge activity now by our viewers, if you have any at all. Well, at least we are here. We can discuss more. Actually, I got another question also. What was that question again? Let's see. Just give me a second. Was something about how can you... something out of mind, I think. Yeah, here it is. Oh, I lost it.
It seems like this question you got just now, it seems to be like an attempt to try and explain the situation of the demigods, with maybe a little more modern viewpoint.
Yeah, you have to do that. I mean, it's education has to, try to explain with phenomena that we're already familiar with.
Exactly.
But of course, you cannot really... Yeah. It's actually not really understandable unless you have gone through a lot of tapasya. See, these type of austerities, you have to actually do that. One has to be very austere with one's mind and body also, in order to actually become a very subtle person. It's called what's it called again? It's called thinning out the mind. You can read about that in the Yoga Sutra. Yoga Sutra is giving the outline how to get to the Daivika realm by the practice of yoga.
Hello.
Oh, there you are, Daniel. Super.
Yes. What are you guys talking about?
Well, we're talking about your question.
Yes. Very cool.
Yeah. So we just discussed. You had a question. The first question you had was that since the beginning of time, culture all over the world, they have talked about the gods who came from the heaven and they created humans, and they have this invisible world where all these supernatural people are. What is your take on that? So I discussed that a little bit. Daniel, if you look at our YouTube, which we are streaming now, you will see there.
I'm just on Zoom on the mobile, so I can't see the.
But that's okay because it's not that much. I was just drawing up the 3 levels of existence. So the first level is the gross adibautika level, and that is pertaining to our body and what we perceive with our body. It's like the basic level that we're just concerned about what's happening here, on planet Earth with our body. Next level is Adidivika, and then we are very concerned what's happening with the gods, which are everywhere, and all of them are invisible, but they're in charge of what's actually going on behind the scenes. So stuff is actually happening because of gods, not because of the immediate factor, which we will call the instrumental factor. Say, for example, one person hits another, then the police will say it was that person who is the culprit. From the higher point of view, the person who is hit is actually the culprit because he's getting back his old karma. And why is he getting hit? It's because of the arrangement of the gods, who found that now is the perfect time for him to get back his old karma. Right? And from the Atmika point of view, it's all just nonsense because, it's all temporary illusion, because we're all actually spirit souls and we have nothing to do with this. We are actually eternally existing in the spiritual world. We just need to wake up. Right? So that's why I have these 3 levels explained like that. Yeah, and so there is an invisible world, definitely, and gods are not to be seen, but they can be understood by inference. You can see that stuff is happening, and then you can consult with the scriptures or with mystics, and then you can understand how things are actually working. But it's very hidden, and it's very confidential knowledge. It can only be understood by austerities.
Why is it close to being bombarded with hurricane? It's like arrangement of the gods, right?
Yeah. All of this, but then you can go and say from the Adibautika that, these rascals, they're creating weather machines and they're manipulating the weather. Yeah, you can say maybe it's true according to Adibautika, but we're not concerned about that because we're concerned about Adidivika. That, this is just a karma who is boomeranging all the time. And nobody knows when it happened, who was the first one to pull the trigger. Can have been so many lives back, right? And then on top of that, it's supposed to be like that in Kali Yuga, that everything is going, on worse and worse. The weather is supposed to be worse as a part of being in this age. So who is actually doing it? It's all done actually by the arrangement of God himself, because he has made this system that as long as you're staying around in the material world, it's just going to be worse and worse. So why not just go to the spiritual world? So that's another take on it from the Adhyatmika level. So what do you think, Daniel? Are you satisfied?
I did kind of fall out a bit from your chain of reasoning, but you said that perhaps it was not sure who was the corporate if somebody hit someone else. Because,
exactly.
I think because it was kind of also the main point I thought was that that this is meant to be out of our control a little bit, and where the idea is that we are supposed to turn towards spiritual happiness, which is eternal and what is it called? This not inert, but it's innate to the soul.
Yeah, that's true. What is happening is, in any case, pretty inconceivable. But what we can understand are principles that, if we are, I mean, good actions are rewarded, okay? They are really rewarded. But often you see that good people, they are going through a lot of trouble. And why? But then the explanation is it's like you're polishing a diamond. You need to have something very heavy and hard to polish a diamond. So the diamond is, you can say, suffering while it's being polished. But lo and behold, it becomes shining like anything after undergoing all this terror.
And then you have, I guess, the Adhyatmic saint, who is like, no, none of this is any kind of suffering. This is simply, the modes acting. And he's always just busy, doing God's work.
And you have a few of these saints who even enjoy, going through trials. Because they feel they're getting God's mercy in a new way by that. Yeah. So, but then you had another question, Daniel, and that was, let's see if I can find it. Yeah.
The unseen world.
Yeah. I think we already mentioned that, but anyway, yeah, the unseen world is because you cannot see the gods, because they can only be seen by the heart.
Do you mean what I asked you last night or whatever?
Yeah, I have it here. Just give me a second. I'll find it. Yeah, you have, mastering the thoughts. So the question is, how can we master the thoughts? Substitute bad thoughts with good thoughts, and let bad thoughts pass through me without absorbing them. Stuff like that. Yeah. So this is a good question, of course. Many people are concerned about.
I know that most monks, both Hindu and Buddhist, know specific techniques for how to master bad thoughts and stuff like that.
Yeah, so you heard about these techniques already. So what techniques did you hear about?
Well, basically try to anchor yourself with the truth and feed your mind goodness and truth, and also there's very many techniques.
Yeah.
This is exactly what we also teach, what you just said. This is exactly what we also teach.
Yeah. So the problem is, usually everybody of us, we want a quick fix. The unfortunate situation is that there really is no quick fix for that. If we have a mind full of bad thoughts, that is harvested karma for a long time. So necessarily it take a long time also to get rid of it, because it's just
it can be very quick.
Yeah, it can be quick. If you are really if you are really humble, you can say, and you have a lot of faith.
Yeah.
You can
just
get
I have thought that bad thoughts can be like sort of like a song you have stuck in your mind or something that they just repeats, and like if I played the right song, maybe it goes away. That's what I felt.
Yeah, but you see, these are patterns which are part of our own DNA, you know, ourself. It's like, you know, our whole existence here is like a huge system, you know, which has been, you know, chalked out for a long time. It's like life after life after life. We have defined who we are today. So in that way, it's no easy. It's part of our personality to be like we are and get the reactions we also get.
I also thought that maybe bad thoughts is part of being good at survival, because if you don't think about the bad things, you might not be ready for bad situations.
Yeah, it's true. So one thing I would like to say is that bad thoughts in themselves, it's just natural. Everything comes into the mind. The mind is like an antenna. So but the thing is, the difference is to dwell on them and feed them and just expand them. That's another thing. So, you know, everybody it said that even Lord Shiva, he's getting bad thoughts into his mind, but he just let them pass through because he has something else to do. He's always, you know, doing the work here in the material world as a meditator and a creator and destroyer and like that. So
as to tolerate the onslaughts of the mind.
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing is very, very easy to understand. An idle mind is the devil's workshop. For example, these days I have a lot of work to do. I was jobless for a few months, but now I have a lot of jobs. I don't have time to think at all. So naturally, I also don't have so many bad thoughts, actually, when I'm just absorbed in working all the time. So that's another solution, to just be active. So that's why, you know, I think...
Sometimes, you know, little criticized also, you know, to working very hard.
It's criticized.
Because you don't have time for high thinking.
Yeah, the thing is, you know, for somebody who actually is in the mode of goodness, they don't need to work so hard because their mind is already not their enemy. If the mind has become our friends, then we don't need to work hard, because you can just sit and think very deeply and enjoy the mellows, you know, or spiritual stuff. But there are very few people who are in that platform. So most people, when they are idle, they just go down to destruction. Yeah.
I think it's okay, because people will eventually they will tire of, you know, the things that they are accustomed to, right? They will kind of think that it's boring after a while, and they will start to, you know, try to purify their existence.
Yeah, you can say in that way, you know, the material world is a place of experience and of trying out different things and see how they work. But then also we have to live with the after effects for a while, sometimes for years, or sometimes even for lives. So, but you know, there is an after effect also after going into the Hare Krishna, you know, style or practice. Then you will have this Hare Krishna mantra on your mind, you know, for a long time. If you start following that practice, you know, your mind is definitely saved from a lot of bad stuff, because you're chanting, you know, 16 rounds a day, for example. If you take up that's at least 2 hours every day. And it's really going to brainwash you pretty good. Yeah, it's going to brainwash you no matter you believe in it or not, you know, because you're just repeating the same mantra, you know, for 2 hours. So it really does something to you. So in that way, the mind can be mechanically saved. Yeah. So that's one way, you know. Another thing is just to train your mind to always just think good about other people, and you should love your enemies. Even the Christians, they are very much talking about that. Actually, the Christians' main take is to be very kind, you know, to your fellow beings, right? They always want to think positive, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that sounded a bit weird.
How?
At first.
Yeah.
Then you misspoke at first, but then you corrected yourself.
I said even the Christians.
Yes.
Yeah, because I shouldn't say that, because actually that's the Christian's hallmark, is to love even your enemy. Yeah.
It was like a minor offense you corrected.
Yeah. Yeah. So sorry for that. Actually, you know, they are very good at this, and we may not be as good, you know, sometimes.
Yeah, because we are like, oh, it's a bodily platform, just ignore it, you know.
Yeah, sometimes that really doesn't work, you know, always to just say, you know, oh, we're on the spiritual platform, because many times we have some work to do on the lower platforms also, you know, just to make the good foundation.
Also in Christianity, they often use the excuse that their enemies are demons or something, and they cannot be saved, so that's why they can justify destroying them.
Well, I wouldn't call that the best practice. I like more the practice where you love your enemies, because your enemies are just as good as yourself, or even better than yourself. So one should always think good about everybody, and in that way one can also get quite peaceful in the mind. Actually, it really works, because the unpeace, the unrest in the mind is because we feel unfairly treated, right? We feel, why me, why me?
I mean, personally, I just acknowledge that there is bad and good in everyone, so that I won't be too upset when they do bad things.
Yeah, and then we can think that at the soul level everybody is actually good.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's been children one day, so...
Yeah, but even beyond that, the soul in itself has nothing bad quality. It's all good. It's all enjoyment.
Yeah. So what is actually happening here in the material world? I mean, according to our books, it's said that it's just a material illusion. It's like a dream. So how angry can we be? At the end of the day, and it's very temporary. That's another thing. The temporarity is very interesting also. You see, it's just so important here and now, and then tomorrow it's less important. Tomorrow, and then after a month, after a year, it becomes more and more unreal even. And then after 10 years, you're like, what was I on about?
You can't even remember.
You can't even remember, and then you think it was just a trifle. Why was this the whole world for me? 10 years back.
What is this nonsense I was doing?
Yeah. So time is actually helping us to distance ourselves from the illusion. But then sometimes I'm thinking actually when the mind is distressed for something, then I think I think of myself as an old man, like 80, 90 years old, and I think if I was 80, 90 years old now, how would I think about all this stuff? And it really helps sometimes to cool down the mind. These temporary things, they often take the better of us. So that's why spiritual practice is meant to help us disassociate ourselves from being too caught up in the temporary things, and rather be thinking deeper and see the soul everywhere, see that people are actually souls just like us. We are not actually different. We may look different from the outside, and we may have different skills or different this, that, but that's all matter. It doesn't belong to us. We have it now, but after that we don't have it anymore. Then we get some other matter delivered to us, another costume, right? So these things will help our mind to calm down, because the mind is upset because it's absorbed in the dualities. Bhayam dvitya abhinaveshata shat ishata betesa viparyo smriti. Because of this duality life, then we are upset, and we are losing our memory actually also of what is actually the situation spiritually. Spiritually, everything is peaceful. Just like you're sleeping, you're lying there in bed, you're completely peaceful, but the mind is completely upset because we are absorbed in some nightmare, right? But the body is peaceful, isn't it? It's lying right there, not moving. But so in the same way, as a soul, we are peaceful, but the mind, it makes us distressed, and we're going through so many crazy things. But ourselves, we are actually peaceful. Isn't that amazing?
And so even a spiritual warrior like Arjuna is even peaceful in the midst of battle, right?
Yes. So Krishna said to Arjuna, you just think about me and you fight, and you'll be okay. And Arjuna, what about this, what about that? And Krishna says, look, I'm the Supreme Personality of God. You want me to show you? And then you show this universal form. So now Arjuna, are you okay? And then Arjuna said, now my ignorance is destroyed. I'm ready now to follow your directions. I got back my memory now.
I've never quite managed to master thinking about a specific God to calm me down. But if I think about truth, then it works. If I think about truth.
Yeah, that's good. Truth is also, God.
And he's actually, in one of the chapters of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains all the various ways that people remember him. And it's like, to logicians, he is the conclusive truth.
Yeah, I mean, you should read a few of the Upanishads, because there sometimes they speak about God as truth personified. They speak about him as that.
But it's... I get tired from reading because I'm dyslexic.
No, but today you have, sound books. All these books can be,
of course, I can use them, but...
I don't know. I think you're on the right track, though. I think it just needs time to maybe, what is called, mature a little bit.
Yeah, it's no problem. You are on the right track, no doubt.
You're actually speaking everything correct, actually.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's not that I'm commanding you to read an Upanishad. It's just a way of speaking.
No, but,
yeah.
But I want to please everyone, but it's not so easy all the time, so...
No, it's not about that. Yeah, it's just, you don't need to listen to what everybody says. It's just recommendations from different people, and then you make up your own mind and do what fits you, That's how it works.
I usually try to get the best possible information doing the least bit of work so I don't stretch myself too thin.
So you're lazy intelligent. That's the highest level, actually. How is these 3 levels of being? You have lazy intelligent, and then you have active intelligent, and then you have...
lazy unintelligent and active unintelligent.
Yeah, probably, yeah. And then you have stupid, lazy, and then you have stupid, active. The worst thing is to be stupid and active, because then one is like a monkey or some crazy fellow. And then stupid inactive is better, and then better than that is lazy active, so intelligent active, and the best one is lazy intelligent. Yeah. So you are on the top.
Cool.
So no problem. Yeah. So
yeah. No. Yeah. Because I sometimes challenge people to see if I can get some wisdom out of them.
Right.
But I don't always. I don't want to go too far.
It's not always you succeed. Yeah.
That's the life of the philosopher, right? He will try to go into the debate and to find some benefit, but most people are not really philosophers.
No, they're not ready. They're not ready. Yeah.
No, I have like a specific purpose. Like I want the truth when I go in there, but I don't want to like just protect my feelings or something like that. That's not cool.
That's the philosophy of the philosopher. Everyone is after the truth.
Yeah, it's truth. It's truth. That is the truth. Yes. Yeah. So
the philosopher will only be defeated when he agrees that yes, my illusion is now cleared.
Yeah. So there are different kinds of.
If somebody wants to beat me, they only have to make sense to me. Like I say, oh, that makes sense.
Exactly. It doesn't have a very strong condition. Just that what you say sounds, reasonable.
Yeah, very good.
So if somebody wants to, make me agree with them, just say something smart.
Exactly.
But it shouldn't be copy-paste. It should actually be something that one means.
Write it in your own words.
Yeah, you have to mean it yourself, right? This is one of the problems, yeah. Because, where is the wisdom coming from? I mean, it's said it's also okay. I mean, from our standpoint, our corpus of literature, Vaishnava literature, Gaudiya Vaishnavism, from that standpoint, of this religious or spiritual, tradition, it is okay to say something even though you haven't realized it. It's okay to quote what Krishna says in the Gita, although you are far away from understanding anything.
Yes.
It's actually okay, and it's even recommended that you quote from the scriptures because of this personalism. Because it means when you say something from Krishna, it means suddenly Krishna is here amongst us and speaking. That's the absolute viewpoint. So in that way, we are blessed. Oh, Mariana, welcome to the chat.
Sometimes I'm afraid to say Krishna's names because I think he might just show up. So,
that's not far from the truth.
You're afraid. Okay, that's nice take on it. Yeah.
Isn't that the actual idea, though, that he will actually show up in his name?
Yeah.
But that's why I often respect the names of deities and gods, because I don't want to have them suddenly pop up unless I have something smart to say to them.
Exactly. You know the story that Krishna can also make you say something smart. When Dhruva Maharaj, he was doing yoga, then Vishnu came, and Dhruva, he didn't know what to say. He was completely stuck. And then Vishnu, he took his conch shell and touched the forehead of Dhruva, and then Dhruva suddenly could say so many nice stuff, nice Sanskrit verses and everything. And it's explained it was because he got all the power to speak from being touched by the Lord's conch shell.
So sweet, I think.
So you know the ability to glorify Vishnu is coming from his power. So you know he makes you able to glorify him. Yeah, isn't that amazing?
It's so amazing.
Because I know definitely the unseen world, it works in frequencies and vibrations, so even me just using my voice can attract all sorts of beings, so it's very unwise to say not nice things about
I mean that's the original take, you know, on the subtle world of these people is that you know, for example, it said you shouldn't whistle because it said that whistling it kind of cuts a riff in the ether so that the ghost can come through. But I don't know if this is really superstition because I never saw that in the Shastra actually.
I've heard that high frequency noises can repel spirits and stuff like that.
It can also go the other way.
More susceptible while whistling, you know. I feel like maybe the senses can be, you know, a little more out of control, and the mind will also wander more, you know, when whistling.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a big science behind it, but in any case, we just stick to the mantras, and then you will be good to go. Okay, so we have a message from Marianne here. She says, in my village, they also believe that. Okay, in your village. Oh yeah, you're from Greece. Okay. Yeah, so there are many people all over the world who believe this whistling is dangerous and attracts ghosts. So it's probably true then.
Horror movies, like the villains always go whistling.
Okay, really? Yeah, exactly.
It's
okay.
Like a common thing actually in cinema.
Okay, so
it's like walking with his weapon or his jailer's key or something, and he's whistling.
Yeah, so she asked what is the topic. The topic was originally, you know, how to control the mind, get bad thoughts out and get good thoughts in, and then we just kept on chatting because we didn't have any more questions. So if you have any question, Mariano, you can come with it, and after that we'll actually round off because then we are going to the next program. So yeah, so basically we don't have any topic right now, unless you come up with a topic. Yeah. Already, yes. Let's see. So chanting Hare Krishna mantra is supposed to soften the mind so much, and when the mind is very soft, it can go down to the heart, because the heart is actually a place where the soul is resting. Okay, so you have a topic here, self-esteem. It's a self-esteem. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. No, also actually how to get out of the mind to the heart is more interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Good, because it's also connected with self-esteem. If you understand that we are in the heart, and the self, you know, is our super self. It is the super soul, and guess what? That is also the situation for all other living entities, including the hog and the dog. So in that way, you know, we don't need to feel bad about others, because often these things, you see, if I have bad self-esteem, it will also reflect in that I feel bad about other people, right? I mean, I'm sorry to say that, but people who have bad self-esteem, they're usually not saints, okay? But if I start appreciating others for what they are, no matter how externally they're manifested, then my own personal self-esteem will also be raised. It actually goes hand in hand. It goes, you know, yeah. Often
I mean, I have a bad self-esteem, but I think that other people are having a bad day too, so I'm nice to them.
Yeah, so in that way we can cry together. So that's at least better than being puffed up, you know, proud. Because often we hear the stories of people who are very proud, like that bullies, people who bully others, they actually have a bad self-esteem themselves.
Yeah.
And they kind of, you know, just drown that in being bad to others. Because usually you hear about stories about bullies, people who bully others, They themselves were treated badly in their home or whatever. So in that way, it's all connected. But in another sense, if we just work with appreciating others and appreciating creation and appreciate God also, that we say, God, I don't like this world. I think there are many faults, but I think you're a good guy. I root for you. Just give God the benefit of the doubt. Give him the benefit of the doubt. That I think you still have a good plan going on. Although I don't understand everything, I think something is really lousy, but still, I root for you. I want to, be your man, Then you will actually feel a real boost in our life. Yeah.
How to get that out of the head?
What do you say?
How to get out of the head?
How to get out of the head? Well, I'm sorry, but that will not take place until we are leaving the material world. Because when we are in the
there are people who live more from the heart and
it's true. I mean, even in the material world, it's called flow. It's a great book flow, FLOW, and that means that you just everything is just working because one is not so much in the mode of ignorance. Well, so then you're not mental, you can say. So let's call to be in the head to be mental. So if some or other you want,
Something which people usually say is when you're doing something from the heart, by heart, or
but you see,
chanting shlokas by heart means that you know them perfectly, right?
No, it's not. It's not like that by heart. It means that you're not stuck in your life. You're not getting.
It's spontaneous. It's like spontaneous love.
Yeah, but even from the but you see, even the materialists are speaking about that state. So why I'm telling this is because this thing to be out of the head, it doesn't necessarily mean even to be spiritual. It's just mode of goodness, that we are not stuck. We function. Everything is going good. We go from one thing to the next, and when something has happened, for example, somebody talk bad about us, we don't get mental about that. We don't identify that. We just move on. These people are in the mode of goodness who have flow. They just move on all the time. They're also getting, badly treated. They're also getting criticized and stuff. But the difference with them is that they're not stuck there. They don't dwell on that and get depressed and stuff like that. They just move on and appreciate still life and other people. Well, people who are stuck, they always think, oh, why me? Oh, this person criticized me, and they just go down in the basement immediately. But and then they're stuck with their mind. But other people, they just move on. They don't dwell on it. I've seen that very many times, because nobody is escaping to be put down or criticized. But those people who are in flow, they don't care about that. They just move on. Or of course, they also take notice and they try to change themselves. But they're not, getting overly depressed, right? Because especially spiritualists, we should try, to understand that this is just material nature anyway, and we have a job to do. We're all, supposed to do good in this world, as God's people. No matter what we are, we are created by God, so we try to be godly, right? And if we are starting, in Norwegian it's called navlebeskuing, just looking around our own navel, then, we're missing out on what's going on, right?
I've never heard that phrase.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's a Norwegian expression.
I heard it.
Yeah.
It's actually a Greek word. But it comes from Greek.
Okay.
There's a thing on phalloscopy, what it means to look at the navel.
Really? It's also a Greek term. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this can easily happen before we know it. We can be there, because the mind is very sour often. It easily, and the problem is the mind also gets used to this kind of mood, sour mood, and we can just lapse back to that. But then, by the time we start to get to know, our tendencies, and we just kick it out as quick as we can and just move on. Yeah. So it's a matter of training up the mind, really. Yeah.
And I think if someone observes themselves, while lamenting over their, like you were saying, why me? Well, if you're actually observing yourself, soberly, you will see that someone is actually trying to remove all your, immediately remove all your concerns, but you are actually pulling them back, as if, you want to actually suffer.
Yeah, because of, often out of bad habit, really. Yeah.
I think there's some taste to it also, because thinking, like this, But it's a phrase called victimizing or something.
Yeah. One is playing the victim, and then one is pulling the victim card. This whole thing, it really sucks.
But often, if a problem persists, then they will keep bringing it up because they don't have a choice, because they still have the same problem.
Yeah, that's another. It's also a cry for help, actually. That's another thing. So that's why we should have compassion with others and understand that they may be behaving like this as a cry for help. So we should have compassion with each other. Actually, usually we experience when we care about others, then we're off the hook ourselves. We don't have really any personal problems, right, when we care about others' problems. So that's another way to help ourselves, to get out our own mind, to mind about others. Yeah. So.
That's very good, actually.
Yeah, so I think I'll have to stop there because I got another work to do, actually, in the material world. Yeah. So sorry for that. Yeah. So sorry for that, but I'll see you again another day. At least on Friday.
Nice talking to you.
Thanks the same, man. Thank you all, and Hare Krishna, and God bless.
God bless.
Yeah.
God bless you.
God bless you.